Mere hours before the murder, they were two good friends smiling together in a Facebook selfie. But soon, one would kill the other, only to be caught later on, thanks largely to that very selfie. Welcome back to True Stories. Join our family in exploring some of the most twisted true crime cases. As always, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. Now, let's get into it. Brittany Gargoyle was a happy-go-lucky teenager. She was adventurous, ambitious, and strong-willed. She loved her family and friends, and was a super popular kid at school. Brittany was extremely hard-working and independent. At 16, she juggled school and 2 jobs. She worked at a pizzeria and the German Concordia Club. Her colleagues remembered her as a sweet, fashionable kid. The 16-year-old had big plans for her future. She wanted to get a business degree and conquer the world. Brittany's best friend was Cheyenne Antoine. Cheyenne had a rough childhood as her parents were victims of Canada's boarding school system. Canada was notoriously infamous for its residential schools, with thousands of stories of abuse. The system subjected students to so much trauma that some claim around 30,000 students have died. Eventually, in 1998, the rising backlash against such schools forced the system to shut down. One can only imagine the horrors Cheyenne's parents would have witnessed during their time there. To forget their abusive experiences, Cheyenne's parents got into drugs, which led to Cheyenne being placed in foster care, where she juggled between households throughout her childhood. Life was never easy for Cheyenne. She also tried to build a relationship with her mother, but her mother was more interested in drugs than her daughter. In foster care, Cheyenne suffered physical and mental abuse, but she bravely worked to put her trauma behind her. At 15, Cheyenne's mother passed away, leaving her scarred, without support to help her cope. She got involved with some dangerous company and started using drugs to forget her problems. That's when she met Brittany. Brittany helped Cheyenne manage her feelings. Cheyenne loved her best friend and was always there for her. On March 25, 2015, Brittany posted a picture of herself and Cheyenne on social media. The two had planned to go out for drinks and have fun. However, things got out of hand, and the details became hazy. Brittany and Cheyenne visited a pub named Manchester's Brew Pub, went to a house party, and then to Colonial Pub and Grill. Cheyenne claimed that at around AM, Brittany asked an unknown man for a lighter and invited him for drinks. But Cheyenne didn't know what happened afterward. All she remembered was visiting her uncle at a senior facility center and not seeing Brittany after that. Later that evening, Cheyenne posted a message on Brittany's social media page, asking if she was okay, as she hadn't heard from her the whole day. But little did she know, she would never hear from her friend again. A few hours later, the police received a disturbing 911 call. The caller had found a woman lying on her back, too cold to touch and seemingly not breathing. She had no shoes on, and it was quite chilly outside. The police arrived at the scene and found a young woman's lifeless body with clear signs of strangulation. Based on witness accounts, they knew that someone had dumped the body between 5:20 a.m. and 5:40 a.m. that morning. The victim had distinctive tattoos, which the police used for identification, 2 star-shaped tattoos on her left hand, and a lion face on her shoulder. Officers also found a belt near the body, possibly the murder weapon. Shortly after the police released information about the tattoos, they received a call from Cheyenne. She told the police about their night out and how she had left her friend with an unknown man. She sounded beyond devastated and even asked her uncle to validate her story. While her story checked out, the police felt she wasn't telling them everything. They checked CCTV footage from the Colonial Pub and the senior facility, but didn't find Cheyenne or Brittany in either video. Something wasn't adding up, and it involved Cheyenne. The police approached Cheyenne's uncle at the senior facility. Initially, he tried to evade questions, but later opened up, knowing the police had him cornered. The older man told the police that Cheyenne and Brittany had stayed with 2 black men at a motel. A fight broke out over drugs, and when Cheyenne returned from using the restroom, she found Brittany on the floor, lifeless. The uncle also mentioned that the 2 men had forced Cheyenne to help cover up the crime, holding her at gunpoint and making her do everything they wanted. With this new information, the police tried to question Cheyenne. She was already in custody for another crime, and the officers used the opportunity to gather more information. However, she was uncooperative and did not answer any of their questions. Again, things weren't adding up, and it involved Cheyenne. About 6 months later, Cheyenne posted a picture of herself and Brittany, offering her condolences. She wrote that she missed Brittany so much and loved her with all her heart. But Brittany's parents came to the police with a different story. A witness had told them that Cheyenne visited their house around 4:05 a.m. on that fateful night. Cheyenne was super drunk and hysterical when the woman opened the door. She confessed that she had hit her friend and choked her during an argument. Terrified because her friend became unresponsive, the woman looked outside and saw a woman slumped in a car, seemingly badly beaten and unconscious. While the woman asked Cheyenne to leave immediately, she was too shaken to report to the police. However, when the news broke about Brittany, she contacted the family and told them everything she knew. Over the next 2 years, the police conducted several interviews and followed various leads, considering and discrediting theories. The autopsy report concluded that the 18-year-old was strangled to death, and it pointed to a crucial lead: a picture Cheyenne had posted on social media. In the photo, Cheyenne was wearing a stylish black belt, the same belt found at the crime scene. The police sent the evidence for DNA testing and found both Cheyenne's and Brittany's DNA on the belt. They found it strange to discover Brittany's DNA on a belt that supposedly belonged to Cheyenne. It seemed like they had found the murder weapon unless Brittany had worn it before. Unfortunately, the police couldn't prove which case it was. In 2017, with all the information the police had on the case, including witness accounts, they arrested Cheyenne for the second-degree murder of Brittany Gargoyle. For a long time, Cheyenne remained stoic, showing no emotions, and insisting she had nothing to do with the murder. The police tried several techniques to break her, but she was unyielding. However, after weeks of interrogation, Cheyenne finally broke and confessed, taking full responsibility but claiming she remembered nothing about killing her best friend. At some level, Cheyenne knew she could never get away with murder. There was too much evidence against her. During her confession, Cheyenne told the police her version of events. She and Brittany had been out drinking and partying hard, taking drugs and getting super high. Cheyenne claimed she only remembered the house party and had hazy memories afterward. She vaguely recalled that they had gone to a McDonald's, where things got crazy. She and Brittany got into an argument, and Brittany took her phone away. Cheyenne remembered being beyond angry with her best friend, but couldn't recall what had happened next. Cheyenne believed she might have snapped and choked her friend, possibly killing her. Cheyenne's defense argued that she was a victim of abuse and acted violently in a moment of misjudgment. They also claimed that her memory gaps were a result of intoxication and shock. While the police initially booked Cheyenne for second-degree murder, she pleaded guilty to manslaughter, taking responsibility for her friend's death, but not remembering it. The prosecution also couldn't prove that Cheyenne had a compelling motive. It genuinely seemed like a moment of lashing out. In the end, the judge sentenced Cheyenne to 7 years in prison, and included her in a program to address her mental health issues. She will be released in 2024. We've come to the end. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. Till next time.